Hello, everyone. We're here by the river to contemplate evolution. And somebody asked me a question about whether suffering is necessary for evolution. So let's see what comes through after a moment's silence. Suffering, it exists at a certain level, at a level of the body and mind. But once we start to raise our awareness and inhabit other levels, other conscious levels, different from waking, dreaming, and sleeping, transcendental levels and beyond, the suffering, it isn't so close to us. When we're in waking, dreaming, sleeping states, it seems like it's so close to us. You know, if we have an ache in our leg, it's like really close to us. If we have a pain in our heart, it's just everything that exists is consumed in the pain. If there's something going on in our life, it just can seem like nothing else exists in the world. And so we can be in like a bubble of pain and suffering. But when we expand out into other levels, into other rooms that exist, and we expand, the suffering, it still exists, but it doesn't take up so much space. It's like we have a river here. We drop a pebble in the river can absorb the pebble. It doesn't make much of an impact. But if we have a glass of water and we drop a pebble in the glass of water, the water just erupts and goes all over the place, and it makes such a big impact. And so when we become more oceanic, when we become more expanded, we can absorb and dissolve the hits of life. Because when we're in a body, we do get hit. We get hit with a lot of stress. We get hit with a lot of change. And things are always happening that maybe are a little bit unexpected. And so it can be difficult for the personality to know how to be balanced in a world which is always changing. And the personality has a lot of coping strategies when it feels insecure. But the personality is just a tiny little dot. When we connect to who we are beyond our personality, our thoughts are just tiny little dots in comparison to what we truly are. And so, yes, suffering exists by virtue of having a body and living life, but there is a way to expand in consciousness so that we can handle it more easily. And sometimes when we're raising our awareness, stresses can be pulled up, and there can seem to be a temporary loss of consciousness. This is an illusion, but it can feel like we're constricted or stuck. But that passes, it doesn't last. And so, if we're feeling constricted or stuck or very bound and not so unbounded, know that that's not going to last forever. And there are actually practical tools and things you can do to become more unbounded. There are effortless meditation practices that will give you relief. If you learn to transcend, if you establish a twice daily effortless meditation practice, it can be transformative because physical pain changes when we expand. I know this because I had a terrible car accident and I was in a lot of physical pain and I didn't really want to be on a lot of medications. And so I learned self-hypnosis at the time and was able to manage my pain through self-hypnosis. And so if that resonates with people, they can learn that. There is something called dental hypnosis, where people who have allergic reactions to medications or to anesthesia can actually be put under hypnosis and have surgery. So it's amazing how pain disappears or can be managed in different states of consciousness. And so I started off using self hypnosis to manage physical pain, and then graduated to transcendental meditation twice a day and did all of the advanced techniques associated with that and my other family's techniques. And then I have something that if I'm in pain, I can have a break from it. And I got COVID during COVID, right at the beginning when it was pretty gnarly. It was really uncomfortable. And I'd been in India and I'd been near the Himalayas and it was freezing and I think I'd got pneumonia or something close to it, and then come back and got hit by COVID and had a double whammy. And I think I probably would have died because I also had a vitamin D deficiency at the time if I didn't have my meditation practice, because I wasn't able to breathe and it was very painful in my body. And I went into very deep meditation. And when you go into deep meditation like that, the body can produce oxygen. The body can lower cortisol levels. The body can heal itself. So I spent a lot of time in deep meditation and the pain was manageable and I didn't go to hospital and I recovered slowly and it saved my life. And so there are things that can make it easier for you. And I'm not going to say it's going to take away all the pain. And as we age, we do get aches and pains. We get physical aches and pains as we age. We get emotional aches and pains because sometimes the past can catch up with us and we never know when something that happened in the past comes up to be processed, and that can be unpredictable and sometimes overwhelming, and we may need help to overcome that. And it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a meditator. It doesn't matter if you're a psychotherapist. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the United States or you're a huge entrepreneur. You don't escape de-stressing. You don't escape suffering. There's always going to be a time in your life where you need help. And so if we're able to reach out to trusted people to support us during our pain and suffering so we are not alone, that is very helpful. If you feel like you have to fix it on your own, that's a lonely place. The ego and the personality thinks, I don't need any help. I can do it on my own. I'm a spiritual teacher. I don't need any help. I'm an entrepreneur. I didn't do everything on my own. I'm head of a country. I should be beyond this. Nobody's beyond needing help. We are all interconnected. We all are able to help each other. So if you see somebody that maybe needs help, ask, how can I help you? What do you need? And when you ask, how can I help you? What do you need? Don't expect anything in return. Just do it out of the goodness of your heart. Because you never know when things change in people's lives. People's lives are dynamic, they're ever changing. You just don't know when it's going to crash. And the ability to reach out for help is really, really important when there's suffering in the world. And so I really pray that none of us feel alone and none of our egos get in the way of us asking for help. And for us to realize that we haven't failed if we need help. We're not failures if we're suffering. We're not failures if we're in pain. We're not failing if there's a temporary de-stressing. Because sometimes on the spiritual path, people think, well, I've done all these advanced techniques, I shouldn't be suffering anymore. But they fail to understand that it's part of the spiritual path to dissolve stress that's within your own physiology, but also stress that's in the cosmos, stress that's in the environment. And so it's just part of life, it's part of living. And it can actually bring us closer together as a human species when we see and acknowledge the pain and suffering that is inescapable for everyone. When there's earthquakes and fires, it's miraculous. People always come together. After wars, people come together because they suffer and they realize, oh, we need to come together. We've been thrown onto this planet. Nobody escapes living the process. And how can we help each other? How can we help? And so I also pray that these videos can help in whatever way. And I hope that watching them, you get some relief. From the bottom of my heart, I hope I may help in what little way I can. And you can ask, how can you be of service to other people? And if you just ask, you'll be busy. The universe will keep you busy. Jai Gurudev.